What is going on, everyone? Welcome to episode 250 of Littleroot Lessons. Yes, we've been doing this for 250 weeks straight, no misses, by some miracle. And this is the first week we've had in, I think, a month with the three of us.
That's probably accurate.
Yeah, I actually think...
The boys are backing down, the boys are backing down. We're all here. It's exciting.
It is. No, it feels good. We've spent about 40 minutes talking about everything that isn't VGC, only to hop right into the last event of Regulation H. And this was definitely a way to pretty much send the format off.
It was fun.
Yeah, it was a very, very fun weekend. And honestly, a season-long encompassing narrative to that resulted in this win. And, I mean, if you guys want, we can just get right into it.
Yeah.
I'm waiting for you, Carter.
Sorry, I was trying to figure out when the last time we were all together was.
Well, you figure that out. We can talk about this first. Quickly, we're just going over the usage stats. The top 12, it's pretty much been the same. And this 12 also stayed relatively static. Going from day 1 to day 2, the 12 never changed. The top 12 never changed over. Pelipper as your main weather setter. Of course, I think the main change, not even talking about Pelipper, which I was right about. Incineroar, second event, it's really taken over as the top Pokemon. It is really weird because it feels like the last handful of series that we've had in Incineroar, really outside of Regulation G, where everyone's like, yeah, this is just good. Everyone's like, oh no, Incineroar is not necessary, it's not as great. And as the format just grows, whether it was this regulation or Regulation F, at some point everyone's like, oh yeah, this is the best Pokemon ever created. Why are we not using it?
Yeah, you can't replace its role filling. It's, Sneasler has all the fun of, being a little gambling Pokemon, but Incineroar is for those who have financial literacy.
Yeah.
Financial literacy. It's for those who like to say, I know what I'm getting out of this every single turn, and I know I'm going to drop your stats and then control the battle that way. So welcome back to the top, Incin. We're going to see you there for a long time.
Yes, we are, as we go back to a restricted format where as the partners get more powerful, so does Incineroar. And yes, Sneasler coming in second, and it is another thing to note, looking at some of the other Pokemon, their win rates in the top 12. Sneasler has one of the lower win rates of the top 12 used Pokemon. So we're seeing the people who brought Incineroar won a lot. The people who brought Gholdengo, who brought Dragonite, won a lot. One of the big things to note in going from day 1 to day 2 is that Sneasler did drop to 4th, with Gholdengo and Dragonite moving up to 2nd and 3rd respectively. So, people who brought Amoonguss won a lot. It became, yet again, the good Mons are really, really freaking good. And
good Mons, good. News at 11.
Yeah. But we can talk about the Incineroar. We can talk about the Sneasler, the Amoonguss. And, of course, yes, Amoonguss and Incineroar won. But...
I mean, do we have to talk about Amoonguss?
They
we
won,
can talk about everything else going on
but
here.
it's not the story that happened. So actually, I'm going to paint a story for you guys.
Pokemon script writers here. All right, here comes Angelo. Let's go.
So
All right, so hold on. What do we think the Wolfe Glicke video title is going to be for this video?
I'm the first 10-time regional champion.
No, that's too
that.
simple. I think that's too simple.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be something about how I destroyed a format with Polito, with a little frog or something like that.
How I destroyed Regulation H Cone Parish.
Yeah, Wolfie Cone Parish. And first of all, I would like to note one of the graphics that TPCI put out during the stream, which was a really great graphic that I forgot to save, but I'm talking about it anyway. Just overall results of different Pokemon and how they did in Regulation H, Mons at top cut, the percentages they did, and one of the things that they noted were unique Pokemon that top aided. And up until they released it yesterday, so in the middle of day one, yeah, Mega was there, and Wolf's like, I brought the most unique Pokemon to a top 8. Looks like he brought 3 because no one else brought Kingdra and Politoed to a top 8. So for people like this was the creative player format. We all know that Wolf is one of our most creative builders. On top of, and that's I think one of the things that's lost. On top of his skills of just playing this game in general, he is one of the best like creative Mon players. We talk about like we have Justin Knox, we have a handful of like other like different interesting builders, people who always like pulling Pokemon that aren't at the top of the meta. Wolf is right there with them in terms of taking Pokemon that usually don't do well and succeeding with them. And the thing I will say to people who do see this team is, you are not Wolfe Glicke. You cannot play Perish Trap at this level.
Says you.
No one else has done it.
Yeah, but like, what do you know? Angelo, I think you need to understand that Lapras is very good because Wolf did something with it and made a video on it. And I couldn't tell you the number of Reddit posts I saw that said, I don't know what happened. How did this Lapras keep hitting its moves? I don't know. Go watch the video. Like, yeah. You can't just say, it hit 3 sheer colds in a row. You had to lead up with, it had skill swap twice. Yeah, you're missing some minor details there, people.
But it's so crazy to me that in the great year of 2024, we have the final regional being won by Kingdra Politoed against Charizard Torkoal. Like, I think
the big takeaway here is that Politoed's the best rain setter in this format.
You shut your whore mouth.
I mean, Angelo, I don't see another Pelipper. I don't see a Pelipper here in top 8. So like, that's a lie. This one is. I don't see a Pelipper in top 4.
The absolute.
And I'm just saying, there's a Sand team, there's a Sun team, there's this Alolan Ninetales here. Like, weather's really good, but there's no Pelipper up here. So like,
I'm going to spank you.
I know Angelo was alluding to it earlier, but the script writing on this finals was one of the greatest things. Like, the NFL could not even imagine the levels.
This actually is going further back than you think. This has been building up before last weekend with the video with Marco, and I haven't seen a single person reference it. And so I'm going to just say, I'm on the record. I'm the first one bringing this up. Late October, the last weekend of October before Halloween, Wolfie has his invitational auction draft league where Wolfie drafts a Politoed Arch Goth trapping team. This has been in the works since late October, and we saw him do it right in front of us. We saw him pick these Mons on stream. And then you flash forward another month and a half later, Global Challenge. As we know, the infamous quote, Wolfie con Perish. Which, yes, Wolfie using a Perish Trap team is at the levels of like Hoodie Joe UX9, of people you do not want to see on the other side of the table. And the fact that it was Marco who played him yesterday during Swiss, who played him
during the final match of Swiss.
Yes, who played him during the GC to let us know that Wolf is on his Perish like game, and then for it to be in the finals, and everyone knew. Even I will say that Marco played an unbelievable finals. I'm shocked that he took that game too. It was inevitable. When Wolf got in the position where he was going to win this with his favorite archetype, and honestly complete a goal that yesterday he released his regional video talking about Louisville. And he mentioned the video, he's like, I set this goal of reaching 10 regional wins. And I thought it was unreachable. And as of yesterday, he's like, I've won 3 in the last 2 years. Well, now he's won 4 in the last 2 years. He's won 3 in this calendar year alone. We talked about Marco being like, is he one of the GOATs? Is he in the conversation? 3 IC wins. Well, just like Josh Allen, the Bills last year, he had a shot at Patrick Mahomes, and he couldn't do it because when it comes down to it, Wolfe Glicke is inevitable.
He's him. Truly. It was like, I like just this Sunday, December 15th, the level of competition that I watched today, just across the board. We talk sports a lot on the channel, but between uh, soccer this morning, Man United had a comeback win against Man City, and then football today, like the Lions Bills game just ended, which was one of the craziest games I think I've ever watched in my entire life. It was just like insanity, and the Ravens won, and there was just so much great games today. And then this smack in the middle of it, having this amazing finals match between 2 of the greatest players of all time, it was just unbelievable. And both of them have so much to be proud of, like just in how they played each game. But Wolf is just a different breed. He's just really on another level from everybody else in this game. I don't think it's a question anymore on who the greatest of all time is. I know people will point to Ray Rizzo's 3 in a row Worlds wins, but the times have changed a little bit since then. And the fact that Wolf is able to keep up at such a ridiculously high level to win just like one regional in a couple of years is such an incredible feat. But to just go on and have these multiple wins in multiple years and constantly making day 2s and top 8s and top 4s and world's top cuts and this and that, it's just absolutely unreal, and amazing and incredible. So
yeah, I mean, we really haven't even talked about the team, and I think one of the really great things with this team, just outside of the pieces, Wolf's understanding of Archaludon as a Pokemon is probably like one of my favorite parts of the team. Knowing that, just understanding the calcs, knowing that he can use the Terra Electric, Power Herb, Electro Shot, and you're going to have a decent role into OHKOing a Pokemon as prevalent as Goldango. Just viewing it as this offensive powerhouse inside and outside of your rain modes. The Protect on Incin on a team like this, like that's something every single Pokemon has Protect. Like this is fully committing to this Perish mode and making sure that you always have, when you have that 3v2, you always have that out where you can click Perish Song and every single Pokemon can Protect. They can all pivot around and you can just win just by doing that. Like, yeah, I think it's the team speaks for itself, and it's just one of the biggest crowning moments in VGC history happened today with Wolf's 10th win.
I like the frog.
I love that he brought back this Archaludon set too, like
Yeah.
this weird, wacky art set that he used earlier in the season.
It's been popping up quite a bit. I think I like it more than like the AV stuff.
Well, yeah, you're the click buttons guy. Of course you like it more.
No, that would be an argument to like AV more.
No, like this has
no, because
this
has
is max speed, max
Anselo,
special attack with a focus sash.
Why click Protect when 4 damage attack?
Well, this one you get to do more damage.
I mean, trust me. If you think I wasn't like playing max speed Arch, you would be correct. I didn't play a lot with Arch. But but I don't know, man. I really like this Arch set. Like Politoed, like Kingdra, like it was, I think like that video is still the most popular video on our channel, like of all time, of Carl laddering with those two.
I think so. I mean, I can.
I'm actually curious now.
I'm getting it right now.
I'm already ahead of you. Popular. Oh no, it's it is actually number 6, number 7 now.
Really?
Yeah, the Skeledirge team that I played at the very beginning of this game is our highest viewed laddering
Okay.
video of all time.
Yeah, I'm looking, and then the Plusle Minum video, absolutely nutty. Yeah, I think that's just kind of
Like, there's, I don't think you'll find anyone rather other than like me who's a bigger fan of Politoed Kingdra. Like, I love this duo. I Man, I love.
I think
Politoed.
honestly
It's he's just a little guy, you know,
like I think it's
I
like
love
the
him.
thing is it's like we've never said like Politoed is bad. It's always just been for the way the meta is played. And how everything shook out, like Pelipper's just has a better toolkit. But if you want to do Perish stuff, this is the best Perishmon. And then also going and having Kingdra as your water type. It like that. The thing is with the team, it does lean super super heavy on the special attack. But with that being said, that means that you don't care about opposing Incineroar really, because the only Pokemon that Intimidate actually affects is your own Incineroar.
Hey,
And
Jay, quick
What's up?
aside. Rain team good against Firemon.
oh yeah, but that's besides the point.
Yeah, I mean,
You know, just this team doesn't care about Incineroar. Really?
Well, no, it's like your standard rain team with Basculegion. The Intimidate can definitely hurt the Basculegion's damage.
No, that I will agree with. Like,
And that's
I'm not saying that, you know, but like the idea that you want to bring your fire type Intimidator into the matchup with multiple water types made me laugh.
The Kingdra as well is really great. The Swift Swim makes it super, super fast in this format. The speed ceiling, as we've discussed, especially because there really aren't a lot of Scarfmons as well. The speed ceiling's pretty low in this format, so if you're running like max backs, that Swift Swim's going to get you pretty up there. And the Stellar Terra having the Draco Meteor, the Weather Ball, and the Muddy Water, you're just able to put out a lot of damage. Stellar's an amazing Terra type for Kingdra, which does, I believe, it's only a base 95 special attack. So it doesn't.
Yeah, it's kind of lackluster, but like
the Stellar Terra is definitely making up for like getting that extra oomph. So your Draco Meteor, your single target Weather Ball in the rain, or your Muddy Water as a spread option is able to pick up like KOs that it wouldn't miss at. So
and it's so unique with the Stellar Terra too, because it actually has such a unique interaction with this weather-based team, and we saw it in the finals. And that's that you get the stellar boost on Weather Ball when it's in sun, when it's in rain, when it's out of weather. So you get that stellar boost multiple times still on clicking it. So we actually saw when it was in the sun on the fire type move, it had a boosted stellar into the Ursaluna. And then when Wolfie was able to pivot back in rain, then it was a water type move, so it got the stellar boost once again. And it was just a really unique and cool interaction that did a ton of damage into the Ursaluna and really made Marco's defensive switching of his, or the defensive move of clicking Sunny Day on Jump Bluff into a little bit of a hindrance anyway, because the Weather Ball still did so much into the Ursaluna.
yeah, and that is just again understanding the concepts of just the game itself and having a move to take advantage of it. Like Weather Ball, Terra Blast, like these are definitely like any move that can change its type. Being able to take advantage of that, and specifically like Weather Ball with this stellar interaction in a format that has so much weather, is one of it's another level of understanding the game that if you're just looking at it on a base level, you'll be like, okay, that's cool. You're going to get like, maybe one boost. But it's like, no, you can get upwards of, depending on how many weathers are being played out, you can get a handful of boosts just from that one move, let alone the Draco Meteor boost as well. So I think we've gotten a lot into Wolf's team. Let's talk a little bit about Marco's team, because this is kind of a team that we've already talked about. If I'm not mistaken, this is the six that he ran at LAIC and just won with.
Yeah, it's the same team that Marcos has been playing, and it probably it might be the same as Joe Ugarte's. I think his might have been
Joe
Scarf Zard.
No, Joe's been on the Typhlosion.
Typhlosion,
that is correct.
Typhlosion over Zard, yeah. And then it was Jin Farai who was using the Trick Room Zard variant instead, the Psy Spam Trick Room Zard variant. But yeah, this is the same team that Marcos has been using for quite some time. Now won the international with it a couple weeks ago, or last week was it? I can't even remember. Time is such a figment of my imagination.
The IC was a month ago.
It was a month ago?
Yeah, the IC was about a month ago. Yeah, the IC was before Thanksgiving.
Shows how in touch I am, and shows how firing all my neurons are right now.
As you were saying, like between like Marco, Jin, of course Joe UX9 with his Jump Bluff Torkoal. Sun has been an archetype that a lot of high end players have been using. I think. And this is something we've said a lot. The biggest issue with it, at least in my opinion, is the fact that you are running a lot of moves that can miss. The Heat Wave, the Overheat, the Air Slash, the Sleep Powder. Like, there's some times where you can make... And we see this with Joe a lot. This is probably, like... The thing that's probably stopping Joe the most from just like getting over winning a lot of these events and being in finals is the fact that the teams that he does the best with are also these teams that don't have these 100% accurate moves. And, you have the perfect turn made out. Yeah, but the Air Slash missed its 5% chance of missing, or the Heat Wave missed the Mon that you really needed to hit. And you did everything correct, and the game just said, no, not today, buddy. Which, of course, was not really the case for Marco. Marco he had a bad matchup, and it was something we saw clearly from Marco's stream last week during the Grand the Grand Challenge to yesterday on stream, where Wolfe went and pretty much schooled Marco for 2 games straight. Going into this, like Chris and he texted me, he's like, I can't see this going 3 games. And the fact that it went 3 games alone just shows the amount of growth that Marco had seeing that specific matchup over and over again, but also how bad the matchup was and how dominant Wolfe is, where he played the same exact player 3 times and the result was the same all 3 times. And it was Marco Silva, not like one of us.
It's insane. And not only Marco Silva, but Marco Silva with his IC winning team, one of his best teams in quite some time. So to really take him and performing at the level that he's been performing at lately is unreal. And, both of them should be incredibly proud of the runs and the way that they played. It was unbelievable watching that finals. Like 40 chests these two were on. It was it was outrageous.
Well, it also helps that they played earlier in the tournament too. So I mean they've played who knows how many times before this. So these 2 players are well versed in how the others play.
Yeah.
So and that's one of the most interesting parts of having these 2 as the the finalists. It's man. It is just going to be mind game after mind game with these 2.
No, this legitimately could be the World's Finals. And honestly, if we go to 3rd and 4th place, which we're about to hop to 3rd right now, 3rd and 4th place could also be 3rd and 4th place at Worlds as well. Chapou Cross took a break and then just jaunted up to Toronto and came in 3rd place. Just casual.
Casually, defending his Toronto title from last year.
Not fully, but coming close.
Yeah, really showing why he
really,
won last
really
year.
trying to.
Yeah. So Chapou built this team with Marcus Dion, who came in 6th place. This is just another iteration of that more hyper-offensive Indeedee, Sneasler, Blood Moon, Ursaluna team that we saw do super well in Sacramento earlier, I'd say about a month ago or so. The pieces so this Sneasler is actually very similar to the Sneasler that you ran, Carter. This one with a Dark Terra, and you were Stellar, right? Or were you Terra Dark?
I was Dark.
You were Dark. Okay, so this is actually the exact same set. The Scarf on Indeedee.
I was not Scarf Indeedee, I was Sash.
Yep. So they went Scarf Indeedee instead of, again, the Sash with Imprison that we're used to seeing. And the
Final Gambit Ape without Scarf is really, really interesting.
So that's been a set that's been popping up recently. This No Protect Final, CC Final Gambit Ape. I know Fiona, who is another high-end Canadian player. She went, and I believe she had Final Gambit Ape, or at least she was running Sash Ape. So again, people have been really, really pushing what Annihilate is able to do outside of having lefties being next to maushold. I think one of the big aspects of this format is looking and seeing how people have ran Annihilate, all the different ways that they've really explored this Pokemon.
Yeah, it's been very versatile. It's had a ton of different sets between, earlier in the format there was Assault Vest popping up, and then there was Choice Scarf, and then it transitioned into a little bit more of the lefties Drain Punch bulk up stuff that we're normally used to, and then that kind of pivoted towards Safety Goggles, which then there was a Focus Sash, surge, and now Safety Goggles is back, but in a different way, and it's been really cool watching the development of Annihilate and the teams that it's also been placed on. It's really kind of moved away from the maushold stuff entirely and the beat up setup stuff, and just kind of being more of just a defiant mon overall, and saying I'm just going to be a good Pokemon who's decently fast, very bulky, has really great attack, and then also benefits from the Intimidate that you want to put onto my Sneasler and my Tyranitar. So yeah, I think that's really, really cool. And I'm also a really big fan of the Volcarona on this team being the more support-oriented version.
Yeah, this is the Volcarona that is very similar to the one that Dawe ran back in Baltimore when they finished top 4. And it's another iteration of that. I think one of the really great aspects of this format is the advent of these non-prankster Tailwind setters really popping off again. When you look at the top 8, we only have one Tailwind prankstermon, that being the next team we'll be talking about, Giovanni Costa's team. But we've seen a lot of Tailwind Dragonite, Tailwind from Pelipper, the Volcarona we see here. We've seen even Tailwind Flamigo. There's been a lot of different non-pranks, or at least non-priority Tailwind setters in this format. Still getting your speed up. Volcarona is one of the naturally faster mons in the format, and I think that's where you can take advantage of it, compared to you don't really need the prankster, of course, will go first, but the Volk is faster than a lot of the other Tailwind setters outside of those priority setters, so you can go with the Volcarona that has a better spread of switching options, another ability in Flame Body that's super useful, and just better support moves for your team. It's your speed control, it's your redirection, it's your damage reduction. With Overheat, you can get that big burst damage out there to pick up a Goldango or Rillaboom or an Amoonguss. So it can do a lot of roll compression for this team, which is really, really great, and probably allows Pokemon like the Ursaluna, the Sneasler, and the Tyranitar to just be able to run away with things. We ready for the 4th team?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, for sure. Hit me.
So this is Giovanni Costa's last event before moving to Japan, and he really made a point of doing well in it, taking his signature Pokemon Dragonite, specifically the Choice Band set that we really haven't seen a lot of since honestly since Regulation F really, and taking it to a fourth place finish.
I love it. I
Yeah,
think it's great. Multiple choice items is one of my favorite team archetypes to run. So
I love the white herb sneasler.
yeah.
That's some really really sick tech, and I think we've talked about it in the past, but
Wolfie
man,
ran it.
I just really like it.
Yeah, no, definitely like the White Herb Sneasler as a way where you can safely bring it into an Incineroar matchup without having to play around the Intimidate game.
Well, not only that, but like
Setting it.
you just get to fire off a close combat, and now you got to speed everything again anyway.
Yep.
So like,
and you're not weak
it's
because of it
never
either.
a dead item.
Yeah. Yeah, no, the White Herb with Sneasler is always live, which is really great. Going with the Trick Protect Specs Goldango instead of trying to run coverage moves is also really great. And we saw Giovanni, like, he really liked clicking that trick button. Sometimes didn't work out really that well, but in general, like, he was very willing to click it. And the other thing that I found, like, I find interesting is, like, he went with the more offensive assault vest incineroar instead of the usual glasses, like glasses, safety goggles with parting shot version that we see a lot more of in the format. So his Amoonguss counters being the Whimsicott, the Goldango, and the Terra Grass option on his Incineroar. And the U-turn was just an overall amazing option. To be able to chip something was probably great into other Dragonites because a lot of the other Dragonites in the format are going to be that multi-scale. You click U-turn, you break the multi-scale, you get your Intimidate off, you can go back in because there isn't an inner focus to stop any of that. Makes it pretty useful. And going to the Dragonite, this is the classic inner focus. I can't be faked out, I can't be intimidated. Dragonite that we've seen. And Outrage is a dumb move, folks. And Geo had zero qualms with clicking it.
Man, I really like this team.
Yeah.
The more I look at it, the more I really really like it.
Yeah, the double dragon, you have two different ways you can put together a fantasy core as a really great type core, and it is just a lot of really good Pokemon that are doing well together.
Yeah,
Um,
this is a very early format feeling team
it
as
really
well.
is.
Just like, we have that Garchomp Dragonite core with the Golden Go, and then you have the Sneasler and the Incin. It's like, that was a five we saw very early on, winning big events. And to see it come back when it's kind of been a little bit more quiet with this the ever evolving Dragonite. So we were talking, for the past few weeks, how this Scale Shot Dragonite is the big winner of the format lately, and how it's been a real game changer. And here Geo comes, and it's like, yeah, I'm gonna do one of two Dragonites in the top 8, and I'm gonna be using the classic Inner Focus Terra Normal E-Speed version.
Yeah, just smack people.
I think one of the other things, and especially like looking at Marco, Wolf, and Geo, one of the big aspects that we've talked about in this format, we'll bring it up again with a later team outside of the top 8, is comfort. One of the reasons why I really didn't fully enjoy Regulation H, and again, I know this is a me thing, is it's so wide with the number of teams. There really isn't. You have a meta to build around, but you don't have like a meta to build around, so to speak. So the people who have done really well, in my opinion, in this format are the people who know their team, who have played their team, and just have the really great matchups. Wolfe Glicke this is his third regional win in 3 different formats using Perish. He knows how to play Perish better than anyone, and probably is like that's his favorite team to use. Marco's been grinding this specific 6 forever. Geo's been playing Dragonite for a decade plus. This man just knows how to win with this Pokemon, and it gets to a point where, yeah, it looks like an early meta team. It's probably not fully up to date, but I just know how to use the single Pokemon better than anyone else on the planet at this point, and I'm just going to use my decade plus of experience using this Pokemon to just win. Same reason why Lenduel just always does crazy with the same exact full bulk Tyranitar plus Garchomp team, and no one else is ever able to really replicate it. When you've done something and played something so often, it's just second nature, and it really comes down to being able to flat out player diff whoever you're up against. Moving on from this core of insanely talented 4 veterans, we get our first newbie, Benny Vasquez, who played up against Gio. Gio actually said Benny is one of his locals, and apparently Benny is the only person in his local scene to take down Gio at the local level. So that's
a really cool tidbit.
Yeah, this kid's up and coming. I believe he had a top 64 in an earlier regional this year as his best result, and he's blown that away, finishing 5th place at one of these most stacked regionals we've seen. This is a very, very European-coded team, which Benny isn't European, but definitely, you can see, this is a 6 that I saw that last week at Stuttgart, I'm like, yeah, this makes sense. With the Basculesian, Gambit balance, Magmar as the redirector, this team is just so European.
Yeah, it's that main kind of core that we were seeing a lot over in Europe, and then the Ninetales was just a really great early meta Pokemon that was finding a lot of success, from the Agati team, and then continuing on through there, and then the Sneaslers there as well, which of course is Europe's bread and butter. They love that Pokemon a ton. So yeah, this is a pretty standard European style squad. I do like this Terra Fighting Choice Scarf adaptability Basculesian. I think that option into Pokemon like King Gambit is really, really nice, and gives you some better options into some tougher matchups that the Terra Water variant struggles with still.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, I think one of the other things, the amount of Terra Ghosts on this team, you did not want, Benny's if anything, I'm just not getting faked out. So
Yeah.
with 4 Pokemon being able to go Terra Ghost, the Ghost type itself in Basculesian, the only Mon you can actually fake out is this Kingambit. And he does have a handful of Protects as well, so that was just something that he was like, yep, nope, not dealing with that. And that could also be because when you do look at this team outside of the Kingambit, getting the boost from Intimidate and the Basculesian, and again, as we said earlier, this Basculesian doesn't really like seeing an Intimidate go through. This team could have a bit of issue with a well-positioned and well-played Incineroar. So just, again, having ways to stop the fake out from being annoying is pretty useful into that Pokemon. Moving on to 7th place, since Marcus Dion's 6th place team was the exact same 6 as Chappa's. We have 7th place Darsh Patel, shout out Criers. Darsh is 6, again, it's that early meta flare. This is very, very similar to the earlier iterations of pelipper teams with Arch that we were seeing have success.
Yeah, except you don't.
A neat one.
And you don't have the pop bomb on maushold anymore. You have the beat up instead.
Yeah, this is a little more, I'd say, less degenerate, with going and saying, I'm gonna go throw my kids at the opponent 10 times and win.
I will say, beat up maushold, I don't think gets enough respect. I think it is actually pretty okay. Obviously, pop bomb is, when it's good, it's absurd, right? It's very, very powerful.
It can miss.
yeah, that's the thing. It's like, hitting it one time on your arch is way different than hitting it 6 times, and now you have max defense, right? Like, or even like vice versa, like hitting your opponent for 1 when you need 2 to KO is just super disheartening. Not
Yeah.
that I've ever had that happen, but as much as I love the House of Mouse, man, is Pop Bomb so infuriating when it doesn't work.
Yeah. And this one as well, you're using the friend guard. You're really, like, between the friend guard, the screens, and the multi-scale on Dragonite, plus stamina, this team is built for playing the long game. You are going to be in the trenches, dug in, and you're like, yeah, we're playing 15 turns. It's going to suck for you a lot more than it's going to suck for me, because he does have ways to really put out damage output. Boosting with the Goldango with Nasty Plot is absolutely, like, as we all know, absolutely crazy. The Pelipper being able to, depending on, I know I didn't catch the nature or what could have been the nature on Darsh's Pelipper, but the drizzle boosted Muddy Water, pretty solid, and of course Hurricane is just a very high base power move. The Arch's ability to boost with the body press from stamina or the Electro Shot is one of the ways where you can just have this Pokemon run out of control. And of course, Scale Shot is just a lot of damage that can go out immediately and break sashes and make sure that the Dragonite gets speed up to outpace a lot of the format. Yeah, there's actually a lot of speed control on this team. We have Double Tailwind, the Scale Shot, the Extreme Speed, and the Thunder Wave on Grimmsnarl.
Yeah, I really like this team, and something I personally really like about it is the Terra type on Pelipper being Terra Ground.
Mm.
Not only is it improving your matchup into opposing Archaludon and like Electabuzz, but a cool like I doubt this came up too often for Darsh. I don't know if this was something that they ever pulled off, but like if you have one turn of rain left and the opponent is trying to stall it out, you could always like I know you still get the special attack boost going into protect, but you could always just like Terra Ground your Pelipper and Electro Shot it into that too. I
Yeah,
don't know.
I
It
mean,
doesn't make too much sense when you
I
think
was
about
going to
it, but
say,
it's kind of
actually,
funny.
what I can do right now, because I'm in a server with him, I can just.
I don't think it because you still get the boost when you go into protect, so there's absolutely no reason to ever do it. But like, I don't know. Thinking about it, I was like, oh, that could be funny. We saw
It is technically something you can do, so that makes it cool.
I
we
just,
did see
I just
try
asked
to
him.
attack into his jump bluff
Yeah,
to ensure a KO in finals.
I just asked him. Like, I don't know if he's going to respond or not. He's probably in the midst of traveling home.
Yeah,
But
so
I
doubtful.
will let the listeners know if he ever did that or not.
I hope not because it doesn't seem optimal.
Well, like, you could
Don't
go, and
listen to
if you
me.
wanted the boost with Arch and there was like nothing to really target, and also attack with Pelipper in the same turn, could have you done it? Yeah, sure. Did he do it? Probably not. But we'll actually get an actual answer instead of just guessing.
Yeah, yeah. The answer is going to be whoever asked you that it needs to seriously take a long look in the mirror because they should never play Pokemon again.
No, it's going to be Angela. What the hell is wrong with you? Which is
Which you
fine.
can also just reply, "That's fair."
Exactly.
Yeah, be like it's okay. The person who asked me said the same thing.
Moving on from Darsh's team, the last team we have in the top 8 is Luka Trejgut's team. And again, this is your Incineroar balance with the Dragonite and the Goldango. This is a core that we've seen a lot all throughout the format, usually with the Blood Moon Ursaluna, but there is no Blood Moon Ursaluna. We're going with the Assault Vest King Gambit and a Sash. Again, coaching, Final Gambit, CC, Annihilate. So this is another example of the different ways you can run Annihilate. Again, no Protect because you have all these different options on how you can run it. And of course, the Terra Grass is there to play the kind of the same role as the Goggles. as your spore immunity.
Luke is using King Gambit. Who would have guessed?
Yeah, pretty much.
That's crazy. I bet he's never used
Man,
that
that's so
Pokemon
wild.
before.
I can't believe that. Can you? I don't know why, but that sounded just so like disingenuous, Jay. Just wow.
But
No,
but Jay's
it's
also like so. It's also like another example, as we were saying earlier. Luka is the King Gambit guy. Luka's played probably more King Gambit than most other players. Maybe there's a handful of others I might think of, like when I think of King Gambit, Joe UX9 being one of like the big King Gambit lovers as well. But yeah, it's like one of those things where I've been using this Pokemon for over 2 years now. I know exactly how to play it and how to support it, and I'm just going to do my thing with it. And yeah, that's just like another like example of having experience in this format. Again, we see another example of how you can play this Haze Dragonite. This being the E speed with Haze instead of the Tailwind version that Darsh was using, and it also shows the different ways you can use Amoonguss, with this one going with the Sludge Bomb for a little more offense, and that roll for a poison to just get that little extra chip in, instead of having the more longevity version with the Pollen Puff. I know a few players have preferred using the Sludge Bomb. Of course, Wolfe Glicke famously used it to win Orlando Regionals back in Regulation F. So, like, that's just been something that a lot of people have been using, instead of the Pollen Puff. If we have no other thoughts, I am already queued up and ready to go for the next team I want to talk about, ninth place.
What is ninth place? Okay.
Mienshao.
I was actually gonna suggest we talk about the Mienshao team.
So
fun fact: this is the only Mienshao in the entire tournament.
Yes, so this has happened a few times. First of all, Tony T, and the T stands for Top 16 in Toronto, baby. I love this man. I love this man so much. Anthony is a member of my building group. And this six, we've seen this specifically with Mienshao. We saw June Lintner go, and I believe it was EUIC. She was the only Mienshao to day two. So we've seen this six before, and this is just another example of people just using comfort. The Incineroar, Ursaluna, Porygon 2, Goldango, Amoonguss core, for a lot of the people in my group, this has been their core pretty much for the entirety of the format. I'd say from Louisville on, I believe this is what June, and specifically June and Anthony, this has pretty much been the only team that they've played the entire, like from like Louisville on. And the only thing that's changed has been the sixth Mon, with Mienshao being the more common of the six Pokemon. The idea of it, so the Mienshao between the Ice Spinner and the Wide Guard, it really helps, and the knockoff, it really, really helps with the size spam mode. That was one of the ideas with bringing it, along with it being a super cool user of the Stellar Terra. The Incineroar with Assault Vest makes it super, super bulky on the special side. Again, it's another way you can abuse U-turn. And of course, like we all know what Goldango, Ursaluna, P2, and Amoonguss do. I've really, the main reason why I wanted to put this out, this is Tony's second top cut with this particular, or at least 5 of the 6. I can't remember if he had Mienshao or not when he had his last top cut. But like, this is just one of my closest friends playing the game, someone I'm super proud of, someone who's put up some absolutely, utterly insane results. And if you want to look at a run, I'm just going to quickly switch to the lab mouse just to see it. The only players he played against who did not top cut were his round 1, his round 2, and his round 5 matchups. And round 5, Liam McDonald, that's another one of my locals. Liam was the top finishing 5-3. So
yeah, I actually had his team pulled up because
Yeah.
I wanted to talk about Gengar.
so Liam's like Cedric, day 2. Jeremy, day 2. Giovanni, top 4. Shiliang, day 2. Marcus, top 8. Benny, top 4. Austin, of course, had Tang, who top cut. Gave Tang his only loss up until Wolfe Glicke in top 16. Austin Choi, again, another day 2 player, and Luka Trejgut, who we just went over. This is one of the craziest runs I've seen a player go through. And one of the other things with Anthony, he had honestly a miserable Baltimore, and he wanted to try to gun for Worlds this season. And after Baltimore, he's like, can I do this? He's had 3 straight day 2s. He's had 2 top cuts since then. Like, I could not be more proud of any player I've built with, I'm friends with. Like, I'm just so freaking proud of Anthony. That's really like the teams elsewhere. I just wanted to talk about my friend.
It's weird not seeing fake out on me and Show.
Yeah, I can't remember what. I don't know if they did at one point or not. I honestly can't remember. I'm not good with this team. I'm good with Incin, Goldango, Amoonguss, P2 stuff. I like the other sort of bear.
I also don't understand the Terra Electric Amoonguss.
It's just, it gives you a resistance into flying types, and it's just a generally good neutral typing.
Okay. Good enough for me.
Yeah. Like, the only
I assumed that's probably what it was. It's
yeah.
just like, yeah, I wanted the extra, defense here or whatever. But
yep.
Yeah.
The Terra Electric Covert Cloak has been a big thing in our group. We like the Covert Cloak Amoonguss on these P2 Incin Goldango teams has honestly been a staple for this group since Regulation F. So honestly, it's weird when any of us play an Amoonguss that isn't like Covert Cloak. So yeah, it's just a lot of it being like a lot of comfort picks that have been developed throughout the season, not only by Anthony but by many other of the high level players in our group. And we have a we'll probably talk about a few of the others, but we do have a few other players of our group who did play different teams that also made day 2. But if you want to go and hop in, if we want to bring up someone else, we can just start scrolling. Actually, here's the next thing we're going to talk about, and then we can kind of go to the Carter's Corner. Nishant Joshi, friend of the pod. Again, another one of my dear friends in our group. Nishant went and lost to a player on Friday with a 1030 showdown rating and said, this weekend ain't going to go well. And I told them to suck it up, Buttercup. 31st place. Congratulations, buddy.
So, like, did it go well, or
yeah, I think it went pretty well.
Are we still waiting to hear back from them?
No, they didn't. They almost missed their flight because I actually didn't know this. Toronto has 2 airports, and they got an Uber to the wrong airport.
Oh, good lordy!
So, to my knowledge, they are back flying home. They didn't miss their flight. But yeah, this is like one of the fun teams. Blood Moon Ursaluna with Calm Mind is something that we kind of saw at the first Regulation E regional with Blood Moon Ursaluna when people are trying to figure out how to play the Pokemon. And it's one of the weird ones where this is like the Blood Moon set with Calm Mind is one that we really hadn't seen a lot of with the leftovers. It was popping up in a few places late meta. I know that Nishant got the team from Raghav, and so I think that Raghav's building group was playing around with that Pokemon specifically, and it does have that set up balancey style of play with the Rillaboom Incin, the Electabuzz as your redirection Mon, and then you have your more offensive faster modes with the Unburdened Grassy Seed, with Acrobatics on the Sneasler, and of course the Scales Shot on Dragonite. So there's a lot of different options to get damage out, to set damage up. Honestly, pretty much all of these Pokemon, besides the Electabuzz, can put out good damage output. And Nishant just went on a great run, finished 8-3, and was one of the top 8-3 players with this top 32 finish. So, yeah, very, very, very proud of Nishant.
Yeah, and another interesting Terra Electric too.
Yeah.
It seems to be a little bit of a trend. So congrats to Nishant, great run.
Yeah, no, just a lot of interest, like, between that and, of course, like, the Terra Flying Acrobatic Sneasler, which is how everyone was playing it initially when Sneasler came out. Like, we're talking about, like, old sets. This was this was the Regulation D set of Sneasler, and
I'm pretty sure at the time when like this was becoming popular, I'm pretty sure my exact words were, "This ain't it, Chief."
Well, I'm not sure. Actually, let's see how many Sneaslers ran. We can see from here how many Sneaslers. So 15 of the 288 Sneaslers played acrobatics. And out of that, when you drill down to day 2, Nishant was the only acrobatic Sneasler in day 2.
I can't say I'm surprised.
I'm not either, but I think that just makes it a little more special.
Mm-hmm. As Nishant has been on, right? You've had them host with you once?
No, Nishant hasn't hosted. I probably will get them at some point on the Littleroot record. I'm going to probably get Anthony on the record to talk about Regulation H.
I swear Nishant has been on for something.
Nishant might have done a Goodbye Galar with you.
We were talking about that earlier.
We were talking about that earlier. I think that would be the only thing Nishant would have been on. But I would love to get them on at some point when our schedules, like, even just us. Like, I was in New York, like right near where they live on Tuesday, and of course, whenever I'm in the city, they're out. And when they were up in Rhode Island, not Rhode Island, they were up in Massachusetts for the holidays. I was down in Delaware, so we've been dodging each other, so to speak. But at some point, we'll see each other. So what is we have a couple. We'll get a couple more teams in. There's 2 more I specifically want to talk about. But Carter, do you want any Carter's Quarter teams that you want to bring up as we scroll down?
So actually, real quick, Nishant was on the Goodbye Galar series.
Oh, yep, that's what it was.
See, I'm not crazy. I knew I've talked to them before.
Which series was it?
Series 13.
That makes sense because last year during USPA, when we faced Team Massachusetts, Nishant is one of the captains, and Nishant said, "I'm only playing Series 13. I am not playing Regulation." It was Reg F at the time. They were like, "I'm not playing Reg F. I'm only playing Regulation, like Series 13." And we're like, "Buddy, get some help."
I played Volcanion Groudon Charizard. Zacian Lunala Grimmsnarl.
So Darsh didn't message me back, but Dad's also in the group, and Dad said, "Angelo, please seek help." So shout out Dad.
Thanks, Dad. I will certainly be doing that. I definitely need some, and
Jay, you need more help than you're going to be able to get here.
Yeah,
that is certainly true, which is why I'm seeking it elsewhere.
Just evidently not from Dad.
Yeah, we're gonna figure this out. I'm obviously a little bit of a disappointment to Dad today, so that's okay.
It's okay. You could be worse. I'm a disappointment to Dad every day.
Moving on, Carter. I have 2 teams like.
Do you not want to talk about my relationship with my parents? Oh wait.
We do not have enough time. Actually, I was going to say. Actually, no. I was going to say we're an hour 36 in, but we spent about 30 minutes of that rambling. So we're only an hour
we are.
Yeah, we didn't start recording until about 8.
So yeah, we're actually fine.
But I have the lovely 4 battles to do after this.
Yeah, so we have plenty of time. It's just Jay's time.
We'll try to get a few others. Carter, give me a Carter.
Yeah, well, we'll just rattle off a few here. We don't have to go super in depth on them. So this is 28th place in the hands of Dylan Salvinera. There's an Espathra, and I think that's neat.
Dylan, wrong bird.
Nah,
honestly though, like
Spathra.
the grassy seed to get an extra boost. Oh no, there's no stored power here. Never mind, that's not fun.
Nope, we're just terror blasting people. We are punching people with a giant fist.
Okay,
I miss Max Knuckle.
That's less fun. Next team.
39th, I'm pointing this one out. This one has Gyarados, Ceruledge, Abomasnow on it, which I think is really cool.
So this was actually in Justin Knox's server. A player there will put together like the overall day 2 usage chart, and someone's like, "Who's bringing Abomasnow?" And I'm like, "Christmas enthusiast. It's December. Gosh." Brian Fournier, # certified Christmas enthusiast, bringing a literal Christmas tree.
Temper Flare Gyarados.
I straight up forgot that was a move.
It's a Fire Stomping Tantrum, correct?
I actually didn't know Gyarados learned Temper Flare.
I don't know what this move does.
I believe it is Fire Stomping Tantrum.
It's Fire Stomping.
75 base power that doubles if your move fails the last turn.
Yep.
Who else
So this seems also it's
a lot of Pokemon, quite a few.
Fun fact: Hisuian Arcanine does. Spam your rock slides, miss one, and then Temper Flare their ass.
Yeah, I think Temper Flare was originally added through Arcanine and Legends Arceus.
No, Temper Flare was. No, I thought this was a new move from.
I thought it was
from
move.
this game.
No, it's a new move from Blueberry Academy.
Oh,
the second DLC.
Seriously? I thought we've had it for a long time.
We'll figure it out.
Temper Flare. Let's see here. I don't even know where I'd be looking for this. That's okay.
We'll find out.
A ton of Pokemon learn it. I mean, like a lot.
Yeah. So one of the other Pokemon that we see here that is a favorite of members of the pod, Carl is a massive fan of the Scale Shot on the loaded dice. Scale Shot loaded dice Garchomp. So seeing that instead of the same set usually on the Dragonite is really neat there. Garchomp has a naturally faster attack, like speed stat, so you're able to get that. Like it's not fully reliant on the Scale Shot for speed control, but after a Scale Shot, you're able to spam Stomping Tantrum or spam Earthquake, which is really great. The AV on Ceruledge makes it pretty bulky. The Terra Grass with Flash Fire makes it very annoying to take out in this format. There really isn't much flying type damage out there. Like Abomasnow is just a cool Pokemon for screens, for weather control, and you're able to put out a good bit of damage. Both with two different types. Being like a good offensive grass type is actually pretty neat in this format.
So I actually looked up, I Googled Hisuian Arcanine signature move. And here's what Google has responded with, okay? The Google AI. Hisuian Arcanine's signature move is not officially designated as a single move, but due to its fire rock typing and fighting style, Rock Slide is often considered the most representative attack. Rock Slide, signature move of Arcanine.
It does say that Temper Flare on Cerebi only has a Gen 9 deck, so it might have been added in Gen 9. And it feels like it's something I've known about for a while.
But it's also like been a year since it came out, so that's probably why.
Very true as well. So, yeah.
By level up, it is one of 3 Pokemon that gets Raging Fury. So
Raging Fury is the one. Okay,
yeah.
I
figured that's probably what.
And that one is like Fire type Outrage.
Yes.
Okay.
Infernape and Gouging Fire are the only Pokemon to get access to it.
Yep, that one was the one. Okay, sorry, I got the
close.
Wrong.
Very close. I will. You know what, Jay? You get a B+ today.
Thank you.
That's a B. Yeah.
Do you see me once I hear the names of the moves
100%.
we're calling how they work? That's crazy.
That makes sense.
I am upset that you didn't get Rock Slide as a signature move, but
well, he's not AI.
I know. I'm sorry, Google. This is why AI needs to take over. Okay, this is why ChatGPT should be taking our jobs, and
What was it?
Grok AI
I was just about to say Grok.
should be taken over. And honestly, we don't need merchandisers anymore,
No.
and we don't need like cashiers, and we don't need like presidents. We can just put open AI to make our laws. And that is how we're ending the video.
Replace the U.S. Senate with OpenAI. You heard it here first.
That is how we are ending this week's episode.
I was going to say, I do have 2 other teams I want to mention.
I have one I very quickly want to touch on.
Okay, which team?
83rd, Spencer Potter.
I saw this.
Primeape. Nice.
Spencer, you can evolve the
only
Primeape.
Primeape, and more importantly, they day-tuned with it.
They're literally running the freaking the exact set we've always expected to see with the Annihilate. That we're like, the Annihilate
Angelo,
moved on.
They're not because they're Anger Point.
Oh my god! I just realized their Anger Point. Their Anger Point Flower Trick.
No, Anger Point. Oh, they don't have Frost Breath on Ninetales. That's what I expected.
It doesn't. I don't think it gets Frost Breath.
No, it would probably be Frostlass if that was
it would be Frostlass.
Which would also be very cool here. But the Meowscarada with the Terra Steel is also very, very cute. It's very fun. And the fact that, they got 83 for it, 83rd with it is incredible.
I want to know, how often they were able to do the thing with Primeape, and if they actually did anything, or if it ended up being...
Ninetales does learn it.
It does?
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah, but it can miss
Generation 7.
Oh. All right, this isn't that Dex doubles, Carter. Okay,
yeah, buddy, come on.
Look, I looked up Frost Breath. I went to Bulbapedia, and if you scroll down to the TM section, it has it available to Alolan Ninetales, but it only goes to Gen 7 on TMs. There's no Gen 8 or Gen 9 because there's not a TM in those games.
Yeah. So
the chart is misleading because it's the last column.
No, the chart's misleading because you're illiterate.
Just to clarify, Alolan
you're not
Ninetales,
wrong, but you don't have to say it.
Alolan Ninetales does not get Frost Breath in Generation 9. It is illegal for it to learn. So there we go, everyone. Moral of the story.
Also, I'm pretty sure Frost Breath can miss, and Flower Trick literally cannot. So that's another benefit to use it, where you're able to go and make sure you get to do the thing. But yeah, I wonder if Spencer was actually able to press the funny button, or if he had about 1.5 useless Pokemon and 4.5
1.5. No, the worst part is I'm sure Primeape still chunks into opposing Incins or something.
Oh, probably.
Yeah, and with the Eviolite, you get a little bit of added bulk. I mean, your bulk is really bad, but you at least get a little bit.
The taunts really need... You definitely need taunt on this team. Again, this is another Assault Vest, Terra, Grass, Incineroar, which means that outside of that Terra type and the Meowscarada, a Pokemon like Amoonguss can just run through this team, just put everything to sleep, and having the taunt to stop that is honestly necessary. Also for speed control as well. There is 0 speed control on this team. You're running the Haze Dragonite, not the Tailwind, so that's another way taunt is necessary to stop the Trick Rooms from going up. Or I'm not sure where Primeape, hypothetically, if it's max speed Jolly Primeape, I'm not sure where the speed is going to be at. But it could be faster than opposing max Adamant Dragonites or so on and so forth. Some of again the bulkier or non-priority Tailwind setters. So maybe that's a play.
Yeah, it is base 95.
Okay, so that is pretty. You're smoothing.
It's slightly faster than Annihilate too, which is interesting.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then Angelo, you said you had 2 other teams you wanted to touch on briefly.
Yep, I'm just going to talk about the other 2 players from my group. Keon, who has been on the podcast a handful of times with myself, and I think once it was the 2 of us in June. Keon is the unsung hero of the group because a lot of balanced team that you were seeing, the Ursaluna P2 Goldango stuff, Keon has put so much work into getting those teams built, and at many tournaments, going back to like the Regulation H event that June went in top 16 at, I'm sorry, Regulation F event, a few of the events that Tony and June have day 2'd or top cut at, Keon would also do a lot of the work in the building and testing portion, and then when it came to tournament day, he just couldn't get it done. So for this event, he went with his own team. He's been working on this Sneasler, Whimsicott, Electabuzz, Blood Moon Ursaluna team for about a month or so now. Just refining the different ways to play this hyper offensive Blood Moon Ursaluna. And this is his first day 2. I'm insanely proud of him because like this is a guy who puts in a lot of the work behind the scenes, and this is the first time he's actually gotten the result to show the amount of work that he's put in. And it just feels like really great to see someone who does do a lot of that heavy lifting for players to actually like get his own for once. And outside of that, like teams relatively standard. Not in Amoonguss, but we have a Covert Cloak grass type because again the group just loves it. Which you can also see in Calvin Tobias's team, who also finished 8-3. Calvin, I believe, was 91st, and Keon was 75th. So both top 128. Again, Covert Cloak on the Amoonguss, classic. The rest of the pieces are relatively the same. This is pretty much just Calvin's take on the classic Amoonguss Instant Goldango Blood Moon team that we saw throughout the format that did well in Stuttgart. I know Brady Smith stateside was the person who really brought it forward. This is just their take on it. And again, a team that they've worked on just getting the stats to fit their particular play style, or at least like the calcs that they're comfortable with. And this was, I believe, Calvin's first day 2 as well. So really, really great weekend for the group with 4 day 2 players, including 2 of them who made their first day 2. So yeah.
Congrats to everybody.
Yeah. Very proud of my friends. And I'm also proud of you too, for being here.
Thank you.
Kawissimo, we did it.
Jay, take us out of here.
Yes, we did. All right. Thank you all so much for watching tonight. Leave a comment down below. How many of my 4 matches am I going to win tonight?
4.
One can hope. That would be awesome.
If it's not 4, you're getting your pay docked for next week.
Damn. Do we get paid?
0 down
no,
to
Jay
0.
does.
Tough. Make sure you like and subscribe as well. Tell us what you're excited about for Reg G in the future, considering this was our last Reg H regional.
Yep.
All right. With that, I will see you all in April. Good luck.
Come and hang out with us in the community Discord down below. Come and hang out with us and check out the Blue Sky.
Yep.
Angela, what is the Blue Sky account?
It is.
I always forget its name.
At Littleroot Lessons, it's the full podcast instead of LR Lessons. So
I'm very used to saying
Lessons.
the Twitter, so It's going to take me a little bit to get used to it.
Well, to be fair, you can actually have a full thing on there as opposed to the app formerly known as Twitter.
Yeah, the app formerly known as. And make sure you guys check out the Patreon and Discord supporters link down below as well. With that, I am going to go and fight my gauntlet, and we will see you all next week. See ya.
Bye.
Bye.